What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. So recently we've had a lot of new subscribers, and if you're new to the channel you don't really know kind of what's going on. So for the first time in a very long time, we almost have all of the cars in the same place at the same time. So we're going to take this opportunity to pull them outside, have a better look around, gonna say maybe a few things that's happened to them in between episodes that you may not know. We're gonna let you know some of the plans for some of the builds. So yeah, we're just gonna update you guys on all of the cars, where they're going, where they've been, what's going on with them. I don't even know what's happening with half of them, so I'm actually gonna know. Dave's gonna be here in a little while, so I'm gonna pull them outside and then we're gonna go through it. The joy that I have with most of these cars is none of them bloody start. So I'm going to enforce a rule in this garage, I think, of your car must start without a jumper pack and be able to move, which Blaine has done neither. His tyres are flat, and he is also parked in the most awkward spot of the garage. So you've made it when all the hard work's been done?
Hard work? You drove some cars out. You like
have you ever drove Blaine's car?
All of Blaine's granddad's cars, I mean.
They never start. That one didn't even have air in.
So I arrive when we've got rid of all the crap MX-5s out of the way and all of Wayne.
Well, no, there's still one crap MX-5.
Yeah, but that's not really in the way. It's up there and probably staying up there for a while. And then we get rid of all of Blaine's granddad's cars because the granddad cars never start. He's got one battery between two cars, doesn't he?
I will also say there's a new rule that's been implicated into 2022. They must have air in the tyres and they must run under their own steam.
Yeah, if they don't, they get left out on the main road.
And if the car doesn't, don't park it there. That is the worst spot to park it.
Okay. So anyway, the idea of this video today, look, we've been in the Middle East, we've been in America, we've pretty much not been in this garage since November. Parts have been arriving, some stuff has been sold, some stuff has been bought, there's new projects, whatever. So over the next week, we're trying to get all the projects here and then clean up the whole garage. We're gonna sell off a lot of the stuff that we kind of don't need anymore. We've got a lot of crap. We've definitely documented that.
Still wanting to know what's in the box.
Don't know what's in this box. You might even open that in this video, you never know. So we want to just go through all the cars, tell you guys what the plans are for everything, and just this is to go ahead of us giving away our entire plan for 2022. But everything being in a mess, like we could keep videoing every day, but we said we'd actually video us tidying everything up. You guys might be interested to know what's going on with the cars. So yeah, we'll do a little walk around, talk about everything, and hopefully it'll even make us understand what cars we still have, what cars we sold, and what we need to use them for this year. Alright, so Josh, let's start with, I think probably the most reliable car we have on the channel, which is your MX-5. I mean, this thing has never given us any trouble. It's just worked straight out of the box. I mean, this is a car that we really don't need to do anything for this season, do we?
I would honestly say the most it's moved is up and down on the lift. I reckon it's traveled more up and down than it has actually forwards and backwards.
It's traveled more vertically than it has horizontally in the last 6 months.
And you can't say that for many cars that aren't car planes.
Or just helicopters. It's more of a helicopter than a car. So talk us through. So if people don't know this car, this was life originally as a very bog standard MX-5 NC. Josh, this thing got the works in the Game Changer series, if you guys want to go back and watch that. But it has been a little bit neglected. Where are we at with it now? So if anyone doesn't know, this runs an SR20. You can see it from here. It's easier to see it. We mostly look at it from underneath the car.
Which the SR20 is bleeding
from its arteries onto my car. So this car runs an SR20, it runs a full RX-8 back end, full cage, full lightweight, full custom body kit, wrapped from precision tinted graphics, destroyer dive front suspension. This thing is sorted, some sort of sequential.
Yeah, I'd say essentially this car had literally had the whole works done to it. Like this was a full ground up build. There's barely any of the original parts that are actually left on the car, bar maybe the dash and the subframes. I think everything else is actually upgraded to pretty much the best drift spec that you can get, really.
Now, I gave Josh fully forged engine, nice turbo and all that stuff. none of it lasted longer than 20 minutes. So it's got a new engine, new turbo.
Strategically gave it at the end of its life, I think.
You strategically broke it the minute you got it. The problem is that all of that stuff is fixed. So we're actually not far away, Josh, at this stage. What we need is, we've narrowed down the issues to the sump, right?
So essentially, it's very hard to modify a sump and everything like that, because when you're welding, it gets hot and it warps and everything like that. So they do sell one in America that we got Drift HQ to send over with the other stuff that we're getting sent over from Drift HQ in the next few weeks. And fingers goddamn crossed,
that's the last of it.
That is the last of it.
Because if there's any more, we're burning it out. We're just burning the car to the ground. It's going up for braking after that. So if the sump goes in, we'll have a check over on everything. That car should be ready to go for the season this year, which is like, yay.
Everything else is brand new. Like literally, turbo, engine, everything is brand new.
So where this car did about 5 events last year, this one did half of one or one.
Half of one.
So it's actually perfect and ready to go. So
I was going to say, underneath it's actually still very clean.
Yeah, the Corvette. I'll throw some cutaways in here so I don't have to take it off and put all Josh's oil all over the car. So where we're at with this car is this is going to come out for the Drift Games Bash, which is next weekend. We're going to do a little bit more testing on it. It's actually working really well now. We have a couple of issues with it, small though. One is the FDF Race Shop angle kit that we have at the front and the BC coilovers. They have a bit of a bushing issue or a ball joint issue, but BC Racing actually created another bottom part, I don't know even what the technical term is, bottom part of the shock.
You're going in there.
Bottom part of the shock that actually adapts to that particular angle kit, which is on our way from America with the same time as Josh's sump, which will sort that problem. Car still works in the meantime. We have a bit of an intermittent starting issue, but Link ECU are going to get their technical team to team viewer the car and see what that is in the next couple of episodes, so we'll show you that. I was talking to the guys last night, they said they should be able to sort that issue out. And then on the back end, we have all the bushings, all the standard bushings, which we didn't upgrade, are just moving around, and all the arms are moving around, the wheels are turning, so that was causing it to be a little bit sketchy to handle. Other than that, this car is, 610 horsepower, LS3 with a built engine, Samsonite some sequential gearbox, 4-speed, all the gear, lightweight, full cage, everything. So this thing is ready to go for competition. We did all the hard work sort of on these cars last year. Now we're just making the fine tuning.
I hope it's the hard work last year.
Mine's been working okay, to be fair. But those two cars are essentially going to be so more tweaks than anything else just to get them right. I mean, it takes about a season to get a car right. For Josh, it takes about 12 years. But for this one, I think it's just a small bit of tweak and it should be fine. So these two are good. This car, the Mustang, currently running 900 horsepower, supercharged Boss 302, has sort of become a car that we're not too sure what to do with, because it's 900 horsepower, so it's incredibly expensive to run this car as a demo car or a practice day car. For a practice day car, I was getting not even a full lap of Mondello to a set of tires on this, so it was really kind of defeats the purpose of doing passenger rides if you can only do half of one every hour. So I'm two minds, but I think what we'll end up doing with this car is we'll convert it back to naturally aspirated. We'll run the car at about 500 horsepower NA. It'll sound amazing. And we will do a little bit of a refresh on the look of this car. I blew it off a wall in Jaffa Fest last year, so that back bumper is destroyed. I might need a door, a few other bits and pieces on this car. We're going to tidy it up and get it nice. My plan is that this might be the car for Adam to drive this year, because everyone's like, build Adam a car, but we already have a pro car.
We don't want to go down that route again.
No, because the problem, everyone goes, just build him a car, and then you're a year later still trying to build a car. So I want to get him out to do a couple of demos this year, a couple of bashes for practice rides, maybe a sneaky competition, and this I think will be the car, because this car, I think its biggest Achilles heel is the power. I think it has too much power for the tracks we have in Ireland. I think the handling now is really, really good. You guys can see we upgraded all of the suspension, so BC Racing coilovers, the full FDF lock, it handles unbelievable now. And gear ratios and power, I think, are the problem with this car. I think we'll be able to get them sorted and get Adam out in that. So that will be the plan with this car. So I'd have a car to drive, Josh should have a car to drive, and Adam would have a car to drive. So that's the plan. Spirit Rei PS13. I mean, this also leaking oil from my own car onto this. This car...
I would say this is not the best way to look at it here.
Put in some shots of this car looking nice, Josh, because it has been sitting here for a while. So after 12 months of battling with customs, so I'm really bright there. I'm just going to walk over here because my brain is about to explode. So the reason everyone wants to know, it's not, so in Ireland you've got vehicle registration tax. This car is a 91, so that wasn't the issue. The issue was customs, because just around the time I bought this, Brexit happened in the UK. This car was UK registered, and there was a lot of just silly things that got mixed up in the paperwork, and then it would take a month or two to sort out, and by the time we got around it, they had to come inspect the car and blah blah blah. So long term, it's now registered, it's now taxed, it's now got number plates, so this car will be going on the road hopefully next week. That's the plan, and we're just booking in for an NCT. So that car should be ready to go. So this one we're not changing a whole lot on. This is, in my opinion, the perfect S-body. It doesn't look perfect right now, but underneath all this dust and stuff, it's actually still absolutely spotless. So we're gonna get that all cleaned up and get it sorted. And then let's go to the other heaps of enjoyment outside. One important thing to mention, guys, is that we wouldn't own any of these cars, be able to maintain them or keep them shredding without the amazing partners we have here at Drift Games. And one of those amazing partners is the tire box. As you can see, we go through quite a lot of tires on our drift cars, our road cars, our vans, everything in between. We actually probably use the craziest variety of tires of anyone in the country, and the tire box has something for everybody. They have the most amount of stock, they can get it to you next day, and the prices are incredibly competitive. You can even go onto their amazing website, check out all the prices, check out all the sizes, compare what you need, and they generally can get it for you within a couple of days if they don't have it, but most of the time they do. So check out the tire box. I guarantee you'll thank me later. These ones are getting very close to being almost done.
These ones on the other hand.
I'm actually looking pretty strong this year. Most of my cars are nearly done. We'll start over here with the Supra, which is also, at the moment in Ireland, they've got like salt on the roads, it's all sludge, everything is just so miserable to have a car. Everything's dirty, this car is dirty, they're all dirty. So on the Supra, you guys will go back a couple of episodes, we transformed this from a completely stock brand new Supra into what you see here. It's very dirty, so it doesn't look as nice as it usually does. We did lowering springs from H&R. We did a full staggered 20-inch Strom STR3 set. We got some Bridgestone Potenzas off the tire box. And we did a black roof, black front grille. We tinted the windows with precision tinted graphics, full carbon kit. What's waiting for this car now is a tune and an exhaust, which should see it up to 500 horsepower. And we're putting the Street Hunter rear carbon wing on this, although we'll be painting the sides red and leaving the center carbon. That's going to be done in the next couple of weeks. Other than that, and bar the steering wheel,
I say BMW did everything,
and then Toyota,
they only left
Toyota the job of doing the steering wheel, and they went, we'll just put the one out of the Prius in it. It looks really, really boring, so I want to change that. Other than that, we'll see where we go from there on that. But I actually really like how it looks at the moment. MX-5, Josh, looking a bit sorry for itself.
Looking a bit sorry for itself, but it's the car that just, it has tiny problems after days. It's got a cracked manifold and that's it. And I'm not even joking you. It did, I would say, 50 to 70 laps. It was constantly out for, I would say, about 4 hours, 5 hours of the day.
Should do it now clean.
Probably do it clean, it's fine, honestly.
So this is the turbo. Turbo MX-5 1.6 engine, which was running, what,
310-ish horsepower, I think, like that.
Which was supposed to last about 15 minutes.
This is my favourite thing about the car. Every single forum, every single MX-5 guy said it's literally going to last the first lap. And that was 2 years ago now, however many competitions, however many track days. And I'm not even joking, completely, the engine hasn't even been opened. There's nothing.
It's 3 years since we did this car.
3 years.
So 3 years running 310 horsepower on a stock internal engine.
Engine not been opened, no pistons, no nothing.
And you might say that we're tempting fate with that, but we're not, because even if it blows up now, we kind of expected it 2 years ago, so it doesn't really matter.
I had a spare engine, and everyone says you've got a spare engine, it'll never blow up, and that seems to be the case with this car.
It's the case with the Mustang as well. So this is the new boy, which is funny because now you have, I mean, a lot of people say, why did Josh buy another MX-5? I don't know if you mentioned in that video, but you now have a road version, which we'll get to in a second, of your pro car, and now you have a road version of your demo car.
It's kind of, again, it was very predictable, as everyone said that I got another MX-5, but
very predictable.
It was very predictable. But the reason behind it, there's two reasons. Yes, I wanted a road-going version of the drift car, but also it's to prove a point of you can still do up a car for cheap. That was the other reason, the main reason why I wanted to do this, and my budget was within an MX-5, so that's why I got it. But you can kind of apply what I'm doing with this to any car, obviously, up in the budget and up in the budget.
Yeah, which we'll get to. But yeah, rough around the edges, but we're going to do some work. Speaking of rough around the edges, also, now Blaine has two cars here, which is this one, which is a 633, which I think looks really well. It's a really clean car. It's a really nice classic car.
People seem to really like this one on the channel.
It needs a splitter and a spoiler, which I'm begging him to put on it, and he needs to change the tyre setup and the wheel setup to make it a bit more stancy. But he'll get to that. So this one works. This one, on the other hand, not so much. This is the LS400. As you can see, it needs paint.
Really?
I mean, you could chance it. Maybe a bit of polish. You polish it, you'd end up at the engine. But this is another one of rough around the edges. So these two are probably the roughest here.
Blaine's using the same principle with this car as well.
Yeah. So try and make it very, very cool. So in the back, it's got a full airbag suspension.
I was going to say, literally, you can see through the window. It's just stocked with parts.
So it's got air suspension, it's got all that stuff. So I think the idea, as far as I can tell, is body kit, full respray, air suspension, big gangster wheels, make it like a VIP cruiser. So I think that's going to look really cool. We'll try and get to that in the next couple of weeks or months. This one is done-ish, bar a few bits and pieces. We spoke about it in the last video. So this car is not ideally, we're not going to do this as a performance car, this is just a daily car. So I want to do different interior, sound system, CarPlay, make it a lovely luxury car to drive around in, because it drives lovely at the moment and it looks quite well.
Really well.
I'm not going to do a whole lot. That's kind of like getting towards the end of its modification now. This one is on the start.
Starting.
So this is a stock Spec S. Have we spoken about what I'm going to do to this car? Should we reveal that in this video?
I don't think you've even told me what you're doing to this car.
I've bounced around a couple of ideas with this, but I think what I've landed on is I don't want to do a 2J or an RB or a V8 or anything, because for you guys in the comments, you go, put an engine in it, which is like a sentence, right?
I think my favourite ones is the K20.
Yeah.
You've seen David Coleman's and how long that's taken.
Our friend S15 and put a K20 in it. He's now 2 years and 30,000 euro into that car just to get the engine to work. So on the internet, a lot of people make these things seem like they're very simple and very easy because they hide a lot of the hardship. If I was to decide to put an engine swap in this car will not be on the road in 2022. Just from the cost alone of what it would cost to put an engine. Put a 2J in that car, I think you're talking 12 months to a year and a half in Ireland, given the average time of what people to get projects done. You're talking about 30 grand. I don't think that's really worth it. I actually want to enjoy the car. So I want to do something a bit more simple. So what I'm going to do is, we're going to do a completely change the outside of the car. So it's not going to be grey, it's not going to look like this, it's going to look totally different. That I enjoy, and you can do that quite fast. What I'm going to do with the engine is a little bit different. I'm going to convert it to manual, 6-speed manual, which I already have the gearbox for. I just need to get a few bits and pieces more to get that together. And I want to put the SR20 on ITBs. I want to do independent throttle bodies, and I want to do a link ECU on it. The reason being, I just want it to be like a fun back road screamer. Like 600-700 horsepower cars are great, but in Ireland the roads are generally wet, so you have no traction, you don't go very fast. I want something that's like a really well set up car, good suspension, screams through the gears, sort of like a rear wheel drive Honda sound. And one of my friends down Moorhead just got a CA, which is a terrible engine, in a PS13, but it had independent throttle bodies and it sounds incredible. So I think that's what I want to do. It's just something different. I don't think too many people have done that. So change everything, change the lights, change everything front to back, make it a really cool looking car that sounds really cool, but quite practical to drive every day. This is even dirtier than yours, I would say. Oh my god, I didn't even realise how bad it was. That is.
Like, it wasn't that bad. That's just how bad the roads are. Oh, here we go. Bill.
Look.
Thanks for the delivery.
I could do some flames for you if you want. So, yeah. Is there any plans for this, or just leave it in an absolute heap?
It's not an absolute heap. Honestly, this was in a video series that was a crash damaged car, and we kind of did it back up cheaply. And again, like, it's on BC coilovers. It's comfortable as hell. I think it's kind of stands respectably. It stands respectably. And
paid me a fortune for the wheels.
Yeah, I stole the wheels off Dave. What else did I? I think I stole a few things off you for this.
Yeah, I don't even know what's in that car, but it's probably all mine.
Yeah, a few things.
How much have you spent on this car so far?
This car is about 2,000 or 2,500.
What was your budget on the other car?
2,500. There's a theme in this. There's a big theme.
Two MX-5s stanced and on the road for 5,000 euro.
Yeah.
And people at home saying you can't get cars anymore. You just have to buy bad ones like Josh.
But the thing is, I've had this on the road now for 6 months. The calipers went, they could go on any car, and again, I didn't want to go. I had mad plans of putting turbos or whatever and putting a 2.5 engine or whatever it was, but it's just a great car. It's the same thing as this. Like, you don't need to make it mad power. Like, I can enjoy that on the road. I think it looks nice, and once you start modifying too much, then that's when the problems really start. So
it's bad to think that this car, which isn't our car, is actually worth more than this car.
Absolutely, but that's the thing of it.
Like, to think of the enjoyment you get between the two of these. I mean, this does look quite cool on the road. I think the front lip and the wheels really made it. Like, it's...
See, my plan is for this, if you do get a sensible daily, then it kind of gives the option to make this a fun little track car. If they sell turbo kits for them and everything like that, the base is already there for you to do something to it. So at the moment, I'm enjoying it as a road car.
We just get away from the
you never know.
Now. We'll go back to the clean cars. There's only one clean car.
There's only one clean car.
That hasn't left the yard. So the reason being that, so all of these cars are all projects that we want to get done roughly by April. We're going to be doing a lot more on the channel, obviously traveling and checking garages out and doing other stuff, but what we don't want to get into this year is, because obviously during the pandemic you guys will know that we did a lot of big builds because we couldn't do anything else. There was nowhere to go, no shows, no nothing. But we were kind of sick of being, you know, stuck in the shed and just building cars that eventually will just go nowhere. So we want to just build them fast, get them looking cool, and we can rotate them between shows, track days, runs, adventures across, you know, Ireland and further afield. And we've got sort of a tool for every job. That's kind of what we're looking for. So for me, it's about getting the two PS13s, the Mark II and the Supra, like perfect, and then within the next week or two, and then I'm going to put all my effort into the S15. I want to just
all of the effort.
Yeah, because I usually scatter it amongst a couple of cars and they take so long to get done. I just want to focus on one car and get that car done really, really fast. And I'm hoping in the next 2 months to have this completely done.
There is one more car you haven't talked about though.
Yes, there's one more car, actually two more cars I haven't talked about. So there's one car, which is my PS13, the red one, which you guys, if you click back through the videos, will see that it's getting a full D-Max kit, Origin Labo fenders, massive wheels. Wheels have changed in the meantime, but we'll surprise you with them in the next couple of episodes. And that's been done by our friends at 888 Customs. So that was a longer job, obviously trying to get the kit to fit perfect, get the paint matched, everything. So that car will be coming up in the next week, and it's going to be, I think, one of the nicest PS13s ever built in Ireland, because I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I think I own the other nicest PS13 in Ireland, but it wasn't built by me, that was built in Japan. So I wanted to build one myself that I could say I put my touch on that, I did it myself. Not physically myself, but my brain did it. So I want to get that released the next week. And then the last car of all the projects is another cheap one, which Adam O'Connor will be revealing in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, I'm not too sure. But Adam has a project. So me, Josh and Adam, I said there's no point in me taking another project on, I just want to do the 15. Josh is going to be working on his NAMX5, Blaine's going to be working on the LS400, and Adam is going to be working on the whatever it may be. So we'll let you know that in a future episode. So we just wanted to give you guys a quick little update on all the cars that we have here, because I know some of you guys are new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining us. I know some of you guys lose track. Even guys in the office say, I don't even know. We lose track, and sometimes we forget we even have a car. So we just say, let's take them all out. Let's give them all a little clean. Let's put them back in the garage. We also need to clean out the garage. So next week we'll be doing a full clean on the garage, and all the rare parts and all the wheels and everything that we don't need, we're going to try and sell on. So stay tuned for that. There might be something there that's kind of rare and cool for your car, and we're going to let everything go like really, really cheap, because we just want to clear a load of stuff out. So that's coming up in the next week. We've got our plans for 2022 coming out. We got our garage clean out coming out, and we're kicking off on 4 car projects. There's a lot going on, but nice video to catch everybody up. So we hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one, and thank you to everybody for watching over the Christmas period. We promise 2022 is going to be even wilder, so stay with us for that. We'll see you on the next one.